Beep, boop, beep, boop. That's lovely music. Welcome to YouTooSpain Live. This week I'll be chatting with returning guest Ciaran O'Toole all about the new service from Innotaxes, which is a web-based platform to simplify Spanish tax filing for everyone, which is brilliant. And we'll also run through some basic tax questions to show you how even the unqualified can understand them. And join us with questions and comments on the live chat or in the comments below if you're watching afterwards, because you are a part of this too. That's what it's all about. And you're all very welcome to YouTooSpain. Let's have the groovy theme tune. Here it comes. Ah, lovely. You could probably still hear me coughing and humming all the way through that, couldn't you? It doesn't mute the mic at all, but there we go. That's enough of that. It is groovy. And speaking of groovy, let's welcome my wonderful guest for today. It's Ciaran from Innotaxes. Good morning, Ciaran.
Good morning, Skatz. How are you? Thanks so much for having me on. Hope you're well.
Yes, you're very welcome to be on. And yeah, I'm very well. A bit tired because I had a sudden gig last night, sudden attack of the gigs when my, another band couldn't play. And they did it like 5 o'clock last night. I got a phone call saying, can you play instead? Otherwise there'll be no music. So yeah, which meant I had a bit of a late night. But here I am, loaded up on coffee, and we've got lots to say. And it's great to have you back on the show. Last time we were talking about healthcare insurance, of course, from Innoinsure. But there's a new company on the block, a sister company. You'll tell us all about that in a few minutes. In the meantime, there's the live chat. Is anybody on there yet? We've got Paul Cook saying good morning, Skatz and Ciaran. Nobody else has said hello quite yet. But give us a wave and a hello if you're there, and if you haven't already, and make yourself known. That's the only way. Otherwise, you're just a little number on my screen up the top there, and you're not a number. You're a free person. That relates to it. I bet if you're old enough, you'll remember the show The Prisoner. That was from there. Anyway, that's for all the oldies. And let's see. You can start asking questions right now, so do that. In the meantime, Ciaran, we should point out from the start, I'm going to say this a few times, that neither of us are qualified tax professionals, but it looks like you don't have to be to use this new service, Innotaxes. So tell us, what's it all about?
Yeah, thanks very much for the introduction and welcome everybody. Thanks for taking the time to join today. I hope everybody's well. So Innotaxes is a Spanish taxation company that specializes in Spanish and also international taxes. And what we're there to do is to assist people living in Spain, moving to Spain, thinking about moving to Spain, whether you're 4 years, 2 years out from your move, or you're just recently arrived to Spain, or if you've been living in Spain for 5 years and you have questions about taxes, you're looking to find out what taxes you'll pay or which taxes you shouldn't be paying. So that's what Innotaxes is there to assist with. Has over 25 years, and the tax experts have over 25 years in financial planning, in Spanish taxation, and also international taxation as well. So anybody looking for tax advice, tax help, be happy to reach out to Innotaxes. We'd be happy to help with any questions or specific details you need regarding Spanish or your international taxes.
So my next question was, who would you recommend it to? You've said everybody, so that includes self-employed, businesses and everything as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's for freelancers, self-employed people, companies, and also just people moving to Spain on, for example, a non-lucrative visa or digital nomad visa, or moving on a student visa. Anybody moving to Spain or currently living in Spain, Innotaxes would be happy to help, because taxes can be very complex, which we all know.
Spain they do my head in,
unfortunately. Absolutely, me too, absolutely. So Innotaxes is there, and it offers a digital platform as well. So it just makes it a little bit easier than the norm, and our tax experts are there to assist with, whether that's through a consultation, through an email, anything regarding the Spanish or international taxes, they'd be there to assist.
Brilliant. And by the way, everyone, you can get in touch with Innotaxes through our dedicated link, which is in the video description below. And after the show, once we've been on the air, I'll pin it to the top comment, so you can always find it there. And of course, don't forget that there is a QR code up in the corner. If you've learned something of value today, or you can do it now, or if you've been entertained, then hover over that. And it opens up a new tab, and you can donate whatever you think today's show is worth to you. If you're on the phone, of course, you can't hover your phone over that, because otherwise you'd need another phone. So you can go in, there's a super link. If you look just below the video description, it's quite a long description. But the first link is Innotaxes. The next link is a super link to get to anywhere. Anything to do with me or YouTooSpain is all in that super link, and you can even find out about my music as well, gigs and things like that. But yeah, and yes, so do that. So Ciaran, take us briefly through the service and what's special about it.
Yeah, so why Innotaxes is special, of course, is the experience of not only just Spanish taxes, but of UK, US, worldwide taxes as well. So typically, if people are moving from, for example, the UK or from the US or from Canada, they'll of course have specific questions about Spain and its tax system, but also what to do regarding their UK or their US taxes. So having that information and knowledge and expertise from not only just Spain is really important, especially if people are moving from that country to Spain. And the digital platform is really simple. So on our website, all details are there. You can opt for one of the various plans suited to you, whether that's for a company, an individual, or a freelancer, or a self-employed person. Services all online, offer a free 15-minute consultation. So if you want to get to know Innotaxes, ask some questions, see how Innotaxes can help you. So very available and just open to assisting anybody that is trying to get their head around the very complicated tax system. So just try to simplify the difficult tax system here in Spain.
And there is a kind of a basic package where you can do it all online, isn't there?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Easy. Yeah, so you can do your taxes online. You can opt for our plans, upload, for example, your invoices, anything that's important, contracts. And then we also do a personalized option as well. So if people aren't so tech savvy and prefer to speak over the phone or by email, just to pass details, that can be done as well. So very flexible in the approach to suit your needs. So that's really important to know as well.
Brilliant. Anything else you want to say about it? Because in a moment we're going to take everybody through a list of basic tax questions that hopefully even I can understand. So yeah, anything else you want to say about the service itself?
Yeah, just the last thing before we go into the questions to know as well is people, which you mentioned as well, can contact us via the link, and they can reach out to us via WhatsApp, email, or phone. And then we also, as I said, mentioned free 15-minute consultations where we can explain more in depth about answering your questions, but also about our service and how can we assist you with the questions, queries you have about your UK taxes or your US taxes, and also your Spanish taxes as well. So we'd be glad to help, and hopefully we can be of assistance today and provide useful information.
Yes, absolutely. And I'd say go through the link first, because then it'll register that it's come through YouTooSpain, and that'll be helpful to both of us. And yes, admit there'll be a commission involved, but that's not paid by you, so it's a win-win-win with the cherry on top, as I always say. And let's see who else is on the live chat before we move on. So we've said hello to Paul Cook. Lee Burkitt says hello. Nice to see your name again. Yeah, I was on Chris's live show on Thursday evening, and I think Lee was on there. Was that right, Lee? I think you were. John Carrington, he's in Mijas. Hi from John. And Becca Phillipson says, hola, everyone. Lovely. So if you hadn't said hello, there's more people than that are with us, I'm sure, listening in. So put something in the live chat. Don't be afraid. And it's just a few words on the screen. You could just put a little wave, one of those, little pink hand waving or something. Just before we move on, a quick plug for some other friends that I always mention on the show that help you with your currency exchange. Now, it's even more important at the moment. I think it's always important to get the good currency exchange company to help you. But the exchange rate's kind of gone down quite a lot, from nearly 1.2 down to 1.15 over the last 2 or 3 months. And that would make a huge difference to, say, the price of a property. If you're in the UK and you were buying a property in euros, you could be paying an extra, I don't know, 4, 5, 6, 7,000 on top of the price because of the exchange rate. So there are ways of dealing with that, and the company I recommend, of course, is Smart Currency Exchange, for bringing your money to Spain if you're moving, or if you're buying property, or having your pension sent over. There's loads of different things and good services. And importantly, if you use the link in the comments and the video description below, as well as getting that free account and free advice and your own very lovely personal broker, you'll actually be helping YouTooSpain as well. It's another affiliate link. There's no obligation, and it's, again, no extra cost to you. It's a win-win-win with a cherry on top. I'm going to put that up on the screen because I've not done this for a while. I keep forgetting where it is. There it is. I designed that myself, as if it was really difficult. Okay, tax questions then. So we've got this list of questions, and I'll just reiterate that we're not tax professionals, but there are, of course, qualified experts at Innotaxes, as Ciaran's mentioned, and as you'll see if you use the link below. However, Ciaran and I are going to run through some of the basic questions and answers to show that even we can understand what you need to know to get started. And as I say, taxes make my head explode. So let's make these nice and basic and simple. We can answer live chat questions, of course, but that'll be mostly about the service. If you have specific tax questions, then use the link and speak to the experts. So here goes, some general questions. First of all, the really big one that there's so many people ask this on Facebook, and they've asked it on our Facebook page as well. How do I know if I'm a tax resident in Spain?
Yeah, so firstly, a really important question to kick us off. So you're considered a Spanish tax resident for 3 main reasons. 1, if you spend more than 183 days per year per calendar year in Spain, then you're a tax resident and you're obligated to pay the Spanish tax resident taxes. 2, if you have your main economic interest based in Spain, for example, your main home is in Spain or your main source of income is in Spain. And 3, if your spouse or your dependent children / family live and are based in Spain. So these are the 3 main reasons that make you a tax resident. It's really important to know, because it is, as Skatz mentioned, a very common question we see people ask, living in Spain and thinking of moving to Spain. So they're the 3 main reasons that make you a Spanish tax resident. And just to know, a common mistake that's important to note is that many clients assume that they're just by not registering with the Spanish tax system, it makes them exempt, but tax residency is based on presence, not paperwork. So it's important to know.
Yes, and they will find you.
Exactly.
Can't hide from the taxman. From the they call it the hacienda, which is lovely. I always thought, I've watched westerns from when I was a kid, and the hacienda is just where people live. That's usually in the sort of the Spanish part of America, down in New Mexico and places like that. Anyway, so question number 2: will I be taxed twice in both the UK and Spain? This is what a lot of people think who are coming over from the US as well. And they think that even though there's this double tax thing, they think that double tax means they're going to pay tax twice. So what's that all about?
Yeah, so no. So thanks to for example, many countries have a double taxation treaty. So for example, if between the UK and Spain, there exists a Spanish double taxation treaty. So it means you won't be taxed twice on the same income. But a really important thing to note is how you apply for the treaty. That's where it can get tricky. So, for example, many clients, they may use a UK accountant for their UK income where they're based, or their US income, and in that case, Canadian income, and then a Spanish accountant, tax expert for the Spanish taxes. Although without coordinating correctly with both, it may lead to unnecessary tax or incorrect filing. So it's always really important to coordinate with both. And in a perfect world, have a tax expert that is able to really understand the double taxation treaty and, for example, Spanish and UK taxes as well. So that's really important to know as well.
Yes, indeed. So, and there are, although you can't get taxed on the same amount, this is one thing that I've learnt from having some tax experts on the show, that if the tax rate is different in Spain to the UK, which it is, then you might appear to pay tax on some of the same amount that you've earned, but it's not the same amount. You basically get the amount that you've paid in the UK, for example, taken off the rate that you'd pay in Spain. So you're just paying the tiny little bit extra that's if the Spain's tax rate, the percentage is higher. So
Yeah,
that's just an explanation. As I say, I'm not an expert, but I understand that part. But I wouldn't like to sit down and work it out with a pen and a piece of paper. Leave that to the experts. Yeah, there you go. I'll stop waffling on and we'll keep it basic. I said at the start, we'll keep it basic. Kira said, yes, we'll keep it basic. Now I'm waffling. So, question 3. Do I still need to file a tax return in the UK? That's a good one.
Yeah, good question. So yes, in some cases. So for example, if you have a UK rental income, capital gains, or any other taxable UK assets, a UK self-assessment may still be required, and same in other countries as well, even if you live in Spain full time. So that may be applicable. And as we mentioned, one of our benefits, what you can do is clicking through the link Skatz will share, is to reach out, and in all cases we can Innotaxes can conduct assessment for you and assist kind of specialized kind of search for you, so to ensure that everything is done correctly. So that's what the experts are there to assist with, and as I've said, over 25 years of experience as well. So that's a key figure to know.
Brilliant. Okay, so some slightly more specific scenarios then. Are my UK pensions taxed in Spain?
Yes, so all UK pensions, so that includes state, private, and company pensions, they must all be declared in Spain and taxed as income. So it is a common question we see as well. And then a common mistake, which is important to know as well, is assuming the UK 25% tax-free lump sum is also tax-free in Spain. Unfortunately, it's not. So some negatives there. Yeah.
So if you're going to take your tax-free lump sum, do it before you move, so you're not taxed on it there. Is my advice. There you go. My unprofessional advice. But yeah, here we go. So next one's what about ISAs and savings, interest from savings in the UK, because that's where ISAs are based, isn't it?
Yeah, so ISAs lose their tax-free status once you become a Spanish tax resident. As we mentioned, you're a tax resident from the first question we asked. So interest and dividends from UK accounts must be declared in Spain and are taxed as savings income. And something important to note as well, which is unfortunately quite common, is many retirees here in Spain continue using their ISAs under the false assumption they're still tax exempt. So really important to take note. So they do lose their tax-free status once you become a resident in Spain, a tax resident.
Excellent to know. And do I have to declare UK bank accounts or property?
Yeah, so a little bit more specific here, but yes, if your foreign assets exceed €50,000. In this case, you must file the Modello 720 or the 720 form. And an issue with this is clients often discover this after the deadline. And once you're doing this after the deadline, there's, as they call them here, multas or fines, and there may be hefty fines involved. So we're trying to explain this information to save people money and to ensure people aren't getting unnecessary fines just from not having the information. So reaching out to Innotaxes via the link Skatz will provide, we'll be hoping to save you money as well.
Great stuff. John Carrington says UK Crown pension. Yeah, this is interesting. UK Crown pensions are only taxable in the UK. They must be declared in Spain, where they are used to calculate one's marginal tax rate. Yeah, I think that's what Ciaran meant. Actually, they're not taxable on the actual pension itself, but they are income, so you have to declare them in Spain. Because
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thanks for making that point there, John. So what do you do with your UK rental income?
Yeah, so an important one is you must declare your gross rental income, even if you already pay tax on it in the UK, and you can deduct cost and apply the double taxation treaty to avoid the double taxation, as we mentioned. But as I said, must ensure to do it right, because it can be complex. For example, a common mistake is declaring the net income and not the gross income, or just forgetting to report it altogether. And as we said here, you don't want to make Hacienda angry and pay unnecessary fines. So that's important to note as well. So you must declare it as the gross annual income.
Yes, don't make them angry. You won't like them when they're angry.
Exactly.
And do I pay Spanish tax if I sell my UK property? Oh, yes.
So yes, if you're a Spanish tax resident, capital gains from selling UK property are taxable in Spain, even if the property is in the UK. And the common mistake as well, which Skatz mentioned at the start of the call, is forgetting to factor in currency exchange or currency conversion, or assuming gains are exempt due to UK residency. So if you're a Spanish tax resident, capital gains from selling UK property are taxable in Spain, even if the property is based in the UK.
Yeah, absolutely. And will I pay tax on gifts or inheritance given to my family in Spain?
Yes, so Spain poses inheritance and gift taxes, and it does depending on the region you're based in, and which we have seen is making large gifts from the UK without realizing they're taxable under Spanish law. So you can check out with us, which a lot of people have, if clients are making donations or inheritance. Just really important to note that Spain does have this taxed. So unfortunately, you will be paying taxes on that.
Yeah, yes. Okay, so some questions about the procedures, the basics. What are my tax obligations on a non-lucrative visa? Yeah, that's interesting, because you're not supposed to earn on the NLV, but still you should do a tax return.
Yeah, so if you're living in Spain on the NLV, you may be a tax resident. So in this case, you'll need to, one, register with the Spanish tax office, and you'll need to file the Form 100 or the Modelo 100. And you may need to, in some cases, possibly declare overseas assets by the 720 form, so the Modelo 720. So these are some tax obligations for people on the NLV. So important to know, because that is one of the most common visas people move to Spain on. So important to note that as well.
Mm-hmm. And what if you're on the digital nomad visa? Do you still pay full Spanish tax?
Yeah, so an important thing about the digital nomad visa, and that a lot of people try to do as well, is so you may qualify for the Beckham law, the Spanish Beckham law, which taxes only Spanish-based income on a flat fixed rate of 24% for up to 6 years. After 6 years, it goes to the normal tax rates, but you must apply within 6 months of arrival in Spain. And an issue with this is that many digital nomads, they either miss the deadline or because of this, they lose their eligibility. So really important to know if you are able to apply for the Spanish Beckham law, which is very beneficial for its fixed rate of 24%, that you'll be paying your Spanish taxes at this rate, and we can help you determine if you're eligible as well for this law. So that's an important one for digital nomads to be wary of anyway. And as I said, we can assist with that.
Yes, absolutely. I had one of our favourite experts on the digital nomad visa on talking about there's different eligibility because some digital nomad visa people aren't eligible for it, and some others wouldn't benefit from it. So yeah, you've got to talk to the expert about that, check out your individual circumstances, and they will let you know whether it's the best thing for you or not. Okay, so when are Spanish tax returns due? This is important.
Yeah, this is really important. As we mentioned, the deadlines, and as Skatz mentioned, we don't want Hacienda to be angry, nor do you. So the kind of main tax form. So for example, I've mentioned the Form 100, which is the income tax declaration. This is filed between April and June each year. So the deadline was the 30th of June. So that's a very common one. And the second one, which I've mentioned as well, is the Form 720. In Spanish, they're called Modelo, so you might hear that as well, but we'll just use the English version. Form 720 is for your foreign assets, and that's due by March 31st each year. So these are kind of two of the very important tax returns. So very important if you're paying these taxes to recognize the deadline.
Yes, and your expert will help you out because there's a Modelo 721 as well, which is the cryptocurrency one. So that's a fairly new one that's been added on, but that's just a different kind of foreign asset. And you should know that foreign assets aren't just, buildings and things like that, things that you own. It's stuff that you've got in a bank account or, anything that's worth something, anything that has a value, if you like.
Yeah.
But yeah, talk to the experts about that and they'll be able to assist. This is a good question, and I don't know the answer to this. What happens if you make a mistake on your tax return? I suppose this is especially important to people who just doing the basic, they've only got a small amount of income, they just take the basic package and they're filling it all in themselves. What happens?
Yeah, so if there's any mistake on your tax return, what this will most probably lead to, and you want to avoid this, of course, at all costs, just to make sure everything is going smoothly, is errors or missed filings can lead to interest or fines or audits, especially with foreign assets. And as we mentioned, don't assume the tax office won't notice. And if you are late in your tax declaration, so if you miss the deadline, there may be fines as well. So if you know what you're doing, just ensure that you complete your tax declarations by the deadline. And if you have any questions or you need someone to assist you with doing this, we can do that here at Innotaxes, and the tax experts can kind of assist with that and make it a life. Important to ensure there's no mistakes and that you're not missing the deadlines.
Yeah, and it is are non-residents taxed as well? That's a question that I haven't got in front of me, but something that people might like to know.
Yeah, resident tax declaration as well. So even if you're not a tax resident, you can still be taxed in Spain as well. So if there's a specific scenario that's applicable to anyone here today or watching the video back, if you're not a tax resident and you think or want to question if you should be paying taxes or not, just reach out to Innotaxes. We'd be happy to.
Yeah, lovely. Your voice keeps disappearing briefly for a couple of words every now and then. You've not got any programs running in the background, have you, Ciaran? Oh, you're all silent at the moment. Can everybody hear Ciaran on the live chat, or is it just me? Is it something going wrong with my headphones? Speak to me again, Ciaran. Are you still there? It's I can hear just little squeaks of sound. Have you got something on your microphone at your end? Just check your settings there. In the meantime, while Ciaran's checking that, if you have any more questions, do put them on the live chat. It's going to be quite a short show today. Normally we go up to an hour, and but we've almost got through the questions. So, Ciaran, can we hear you now?
Can you hear me any better now?
I can, yes, yes. What did you do there?
Okay, sorry, it's just my headphones, I think, were causing some issues. Sorry about that. I think we should be back now.
That's all right. Brilliant. Yes, it's a lot clearer now.
Perfect.
Excellent. Okay, then. So the final section of questions are sort of key takeaways. That's what we've called them. What should I keep track of as a UK retiree in Spain?
Yeah, great question. So firstly, you want to take note of the days spent in Spain. So as we mentioned at the start, that is a key factor in determining if you're a Spanish tax resident. So one, ensure you're taking track of the days or the amount of time spent in Spain. And this is really important as well. People might not really think this or might not have them in a perfect location, but to have any pay slips saved together, whether that's in a Google Drive or something like that, to just have them all in one place. Any invoices, any receipts, you may think they may not be applicable, and in some cases they may be. So better to have them and not need them than vice versa. So any receipts, invoices, pay slips, ensure to keep them handy, because they may be requested by Hacienda or by a tax expert. So for assisting you with any taxes, that may be important to kind of have. So keep note of your days spent in Spain, and also keep track of any payments, any invoices, any important documents like that. Just keep them in a safe place, because they may be needed for a rainy day.
That's the same with all important documents. Make sure you've got your insurance, for example,
Yeah,
and the right documents in your car, and yeah, keep them all together. I changed my car insurance over the last year, and I still have the phone number for the grower, for the breakdown service from my old insurance. And so I don't know what would happen if I broke down now. I would have a problem. So I need to sort that out very quickly. John Carrington has another one. I think John's a bit of an expert on stuff like this. Just a suggestion, you might mention that tax residents are required to pay imputed tax on all properties they own worldwide that are not providing a taxable income. I think this is the kind of focused advice that we're expecting people to contact the experts about. But thanks very much, John.
Cheers, John.
This is something that tax people that we've had on the show have mentioned about imputed tax. We had Antonio, my Hestor, has talked about that on the show when he was on as well. So, yeah, very good. Anything with details like that, contact the experts. Okay, then. So you've gone through what you should keep track of. The days spent in Spain, this is an interesting one, the 183 days. Once you've arrived as a resident, it doesn't matter if once you've got your registration date, any date after that in that year is counted as part of the 183 days. If you go back to the UK for a fortnight or something, you can't take that fortnight off and say, oh, I haven't been here for that long. Once you're here as a resident, or you fulfill the rules of what you were talking about before, of your family living here, that's as if you're living here. That's all part of the 183 days. And before you move, if, for example, you move in the late July and you think, oh, I've been here, by the end of the year, I won't have been here for 183 days. But if you visited Spain in February and March, for a couple of months there, that also counts as being days you've spent in Spain as part of the 183 days. So that can be a complex thing. and you might fall into a trap there. So that's all good to know. And John says that's all properties, but excluding principal home. There you go. Thank you, John. So final question, do I need a bilingual, if I can say that now, or cross-border tax advisor?
Yeah, so I've kind of briefly touched on this. So it's really important to have a bilingual tax advisor, because they can do their work a lot easier and assist you a lot easier if they can speak, for example, in this case, both Spanish and English. And more importantly, on top of that as well, if the tax experts like here at Innotaxes, our tax experts have in-depth knowledge of both Spanish taxes and international taxes as well. So if you can hit two birds with one stone and have a tax advisor or a tax expert that speaks both English and Spanish, and can also advise not only in the Spanish taxes but international taxes as well, that's going to make it a lot easier for everyone involved. So that really is recommended. And as we kind of briefly touched on one of the questions as well, if you're using a UK tax advisor and then a Spanish tax advisor, there may be some discrepancies or opportunity for miscommunication. So to ensure a smooth process, it's advisable to have tax expert that can understand both Spanish international taxes and speak the lingo as well.
Mm-hmm. Brilliant. Lee Burkett says, made an error. Oh no, he made a mistake and thought the 100 form, your income tax, could be filed by the end of July. Yeah. Yes, unfortunately not. The end of July is the deadline. Oh no, it's the end of June. That's the deadline for I don't know. But anyway, there is a deadline at the end of June. I'll go ahead and file, but any clue what the fine would be?
Yeah, that's a great question and a good point to bring up as well. So the fine really depends on each scenario. It depends for each person on their income and such. So what we can do is, well, first of all, ensure that you're aware of this, which is great. And then if you need any assistance with that, we can help and may be able to see in and around what the fine will be, but it just depends on each case. But the sooner you resolve it, the better, of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just depends.
It's a point worth making, definitely. So any more questions on the live chat, ask away now. And there is, of course, a slight delay on the questions appearing on the live chat. I think it's like a 23-second delay, so you're a little bit behind us. We're ahead of the times, Ciaran. So while we're waiting for those to come through, anything else you need to say? Maybe a summary of what we've said?
Yeah, so of course, these are just the kind of basic important questions. If anybody has any specific scenarios, specific questions that they have, they can reach out, as we mentioned, through the link, and my colleagues at Innotaxes will be absolutely happy to help. We all understand it's a kind of complex scenario, so that in that case, reach out to Innotaxes and we'd be happy to help with your questions, queries, filings, and to explain more detail about how we can assist you. So click the link. We also are offering free 15-minute consultations as well, which I've mentioned. So reach out to Innotaxes via the link and we'd be happy to help.
Brilliant. And yes, and let me know how it all goes. Send us details on the Facebook page or underneath this video in the comments. There we go. So there are no questions come through there. I'll keep an eye on anything just in case there's some come through in the next minute. But apart from that, that's about all that we've got time for this week. So make sure you've clicked on the like button if you haven't already, and subscribe, of course, if you haven't already, and click on the bell so you get notifications about what other shows we have. And I'll tell you in a moment who your special guest will be next week. But first then, let's give Ciaran a big virtual kiss and a hug and say goodbye for now. It's been an absolute pleasure as usual, Ciaran. We enjoyed it.
Thanks, Skatz. Thanks, everyone. I really appreciate your time, and I hope you all have a lovely weekend. Thank you.
Brilliant. Bye-bye for now. There we go. So wasn't that wonderful? Loads of fun. Of course it was. Let me just have a quick look at the live chat. And we have Jesse in now is... Oh, there's one from Tony as well. I'll come back to that. I want to travel with Bulgaria tourist visa. Can I reach in Europe and you help me to switch to work permit? I'm slightly confused by that question. So you have a Bulgaria, what passport do you have, Jesse? First of all, and while we're waiting for that answer, Tony Silcock says, morning guys, when I become tax resident, my pensions will be above the allowance, but my wife will have no income. Can I use her allowance? That's one you need to ask the expert on that. I would say, Tony, it's very much individual circumstances. And yes, I don't know the exact answer, and I'm not qualified, as I say, to give the answer to that one. Check out with an expert on that who will be able to piece it all together. Yes, okay, I won't say any more about that. And Jesse, have you got an answer for me? I don't understand what a Bulgaria tourist visa is. There we go. While I wait for an answer, who do we have on next week's show? Well, of course, it's our usual fortnightly visit from Chris from Upsticks. I was on his show on Thursday, which was a very pleasant experience, just commenting on, it was interesting to do a show without a script. I was just there to go, just put my 3 penneth in there and see what happened, and that was fun. Anyway, we will announce during the week. We haven't decided on the topic yet, because what we usually do is we make sure that it's absolutely current. So we announce it during the week what the main topic of the show is going to be. And we might have any examples of how the new 365-day non-lucrative visa expiry date is impacting new residents. I don't think we will have that by next Saturday. I think it's going to take a couple of months before that becomes apparent. And as usual, we will be having our regular Ask Us Anything and Frequently Asked Questions segments. And if we've got time, we'll do our very popular argument about something important or hilarious or both. And you can ask questions in advance, as I said, on our Facebook page or our Facebook group. There are 2 different ones there. One of them's the private group. And we have an answer from Jesse. Hurrah! And I want to travel with the Bulgaria Schengen visa if I come to Spain. Is it possible for me to switch? Not from a Schengen visa, no. The Schengen visa is just for people who are from countries. Have you got a Bulgaria passport, or where's your passport from? And it's not actually a Bulgaria Schengen visa. That's not the title of it. If you're from one of the countries which aren't the 63 countries in the world who are visa exempt, who are Schengen visa exempt, then the Schengen visa is just to get you into the country. The working visa is a visa which allows you to live in the country. It's a residential visa. So it's a completely different thing. You can't switch to a working visa. A Schengen visa is just a visitor visa for while you're here. And no, you can't switch. So that's the answer to that. So make sure you've liked and followed the Facebook page and the Facebook group. It's worth being part of them both. Thanks to all of you for joining us and leaving comments and hitting the like button and supporting us over the hover over that QR code. Buy us a coffee. I need another one. I've run out, and it's very much appreciated. You can also get membership to the YouTube channel, and there's, I think, something down in this corner with a dollar sign on it. You don't have to pay in dollars. It's just a sign of money. That's all very much appreciated. Even small donations, a little regular amount, or just 1, 3 or 5 cups of coffee, that'll get us through. So I will see you on either the midweek video at 6 p.m. Spanish time on Wednesdays, or live next Saturday morning at 10 o'clock in the morning Spanish time. that is all for this week. Somebody pass around the tax cookies. Peas and fluff, everybody. And here's one final message from all of the voices in my head here at YouTooSpain. Bye for now.
Wave goodbye, lads. Bye. Goodbye. Toodaloo. Peace and love. Peas and fluff. Oi, oi. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. One more cosmic dance? All right, then. Look, Mum, I'm dancing. Oh, I'm all a quiver. Let's dance.